Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. I just want to say right away that if I do kind of slur my speech a bit or muffle some of my words, that is because I was outside and it's actually pretty cold for October and in the 40s really, and my tongue got a little bit frozen, but that was a while ago. Hopefully I could talk at this point pretty successfully. All right, regardless, we're going to be talking about a potential for a winter storm. At this point, it looks to be a pretty large winter storm. And again, I just want to bring this out right away. This won't be affecting, the United States in a major way with the snow. It will be bringing rain and storms. Not necessarily the snow, but I do include Canada in my forecast, so it will be affecting a decent portion of Canada. But thankfully, it's not a large area yet. I mean, if we were to see a snowstorm in early October, that's not really an omen of what's to come. It's just usually nice. You would like to see nicer weather. So let's start off. Before actually, one more thing. If you guys would like to subscribe, you like what you're seeing, you could always subscribe. That would be amazing. And if you are a returning viewer, liking the video is awesome. So thank you so much for doing that. All right. So this is a European model ECMWF high resolution. This is probably the best short to medium range model out there, and the GFS is kind of like its competitor, but really the European usually outperforms it. It could be slightly, but it's been historically over a pretty good model. I do apologize, my cat is meowing. He wants to get let upstairs, so I do apologize if you hear him. Notice that as we push this forward into time, right now the snow system, if you will, it still hasn't organized. Really what we're seeing is a cold front dragging across the northern United States, some showers, some storms, and into southern Canada. This really isn't anything significant. It's this little bugger right here, 997 millibars of pressure, and that's pretty weak at that phase. It starts intensifying. Notice it brings some scattered showers and light rain across Michigan, UP, and Wisconsin. At this time of the year, really thunderstorms start to decrease, and especially with the cool air mass that is kind of surrounding this storm. Really, there's kind of like a cap on the thunderstorms. They really won't form successfully, and if they do, they won't be severe. But there could be storms later on in the forecast range that could bring some severe weather still. Not with this one. Notice it does start intensifying 991. It brings into the northeast some showers and storms, maybe a bit of a convective ability based kind of coming off the lakes. As we push this storm forward and more forward, notice that this storm starts organizing itself more and more. And while it is kind of at this point off the United States, notice that it is affecting a good portion of Canada, and it's right outside of our view of range right here. But basically what this storm does is it evolves into a pretty large beast and ends up bringing quite a bit of snow. And regardless, even if it's not snowing across the northeast or once the rain moved away, what you notice are all these little lines packed really tight. These are called isobars, and with the help of this high pressure, with it spinning clockwise, the winds, what they're doing, are pretty much spinning like this. This is also a pretty strong high pressure, and what it does, it brings winds from the north and west, while this low pressure, which is pretty strong at this point, is bringing winds from the north and east. And what this does across the northeast especially is just creates this alley of very, very, very strong winds, and these winds could be kind of damaging at points, 30 to 40 mile per hour, and definitely put a blunt on your day, if you will. There could be also a bit of winds across Wednesday and Thursday across the Great Lakes, but that storm thankfully at that point isn't that strong yet. Notice we do see a little clipper. That one kind of stays a bit too far to the north to really make any significant interaction with the Gulf Coast, so it doesn't really grow into a storm. But I just want to quickly show you this, that the European model really blows up and really, quite frankly, every single model is showing this in a long range in a slightly different form. But notice we see a large storm system come onto the west, and I want to bring in the west a little bit right here. You can see Oregon, Seattle, really Southern California may not get in on this, but definitely Northern California, even as far as Central California. Then, as seemingly as this kind of dissipates through the mountains, it moves into the plains and blows up into a large storm. You can see these little clusters. Those would be some potentially powerful storms, thunderstorms. So definitely something to watch for. And notice it becomes a very rapid low pressure, and we continue to see more large storms come on, and I mean this thing could be an absolute beast of a storm. storm. So that's definitely interesting to see what we'll get from that. Let's take a glance now at the GEFS, the GFS Parallel, because this kind of gives us a better view of what the snowstorm may look like this upcoming week. Notice that we see a pretty large, again, storm system traveling through the Midwest. The GFS Parallel keeps it a bit stronger than the European, and notice it brings rain across Minnesota, the UP, Michigan, and into Wisconsin as well. This thing grows pretty big, and notice that it keeps it kind of a bit further to the west, so it allows a lot of the snow to form earlier on. So you may be wondering, okay, why are you even talking about this? This is barely impacting the Northeast. Well, quite frankly, snow at these levels, even at this time of the year, is still a bit unusual at these amounts. There will be a lot of snow falling, and this is some very heavy snow, and you can see it's a very strong windstorm possibly. So if this model is correct, we could be looking at a very potentially heavy snow event across southern Canada, and I do have viewers from here, as I found out recently, so definitely something I want to include. And let's just take a look at the total snowfall accumulations according to this model. Again, they will be pretty high where they do occur. This model doesn't do the best with snowfall accumulations. They're still kind of refining it, if you will, but notice general areas of 6+, even the green is the 12+ inches of snow. So this will definitely be a significant event, and I want to point out that even across portions of extreme Maine and kind of the Vermont, New Hampshire border with Canada, we could be looking at some snow and snow showers. Notice right there across Nova Scotia, we have almost 36-40 inches of snow possible. So this has potential to be a very impactful snowstorm, and I want to keep including that the winds will be howling from the storm across much of the Northeast, even if you don't get impacted by the rain or snow. Now let's take a glance what happens afterwards. Remember how I showed you the European develops this large storm system out into the plains at around the 200 to 240 hours out in forecast, and notice that the GFS Parallel does the same. We have a large storm moving through the northwest and west, again, Northern California, Nevada, Utah getting in on that. Fortunately, the southwest may not get that much, which is a bit of a bummer. Notice this model also has a potent little storm down here we'll have to monitor for tropical activity. Notice the GFS Parallel does pretty impressively bring out a large storm system that includes quite a bit of snow across the Dakotas and into Wyoming, southern Canada. And notice this thing just absolutely explodes into a beast. Lots of precipitation floating around. In fact, another one propagates off that storm, bringing some snow, as in possibly Wisconsin, the UP. So definitely impressive. The GFS Parallel is a model that's showing some interesting stuff. You can see right there. Look at that, another beast of a storm. So we'll have to monitor this. It looks as if this model is supporting a cold end to October. Rather chilly end, and not all models agree with that. Let's take a look at GFS, the GFS Parallel, kind of its cousins, if you will. Notice, a lot less cold here in the long range than what the Parallel is showing, and there are a lot of disagreements, especially about this upcoming snow system in the Northeast this week. So notice we do have that weekend cold front drag some showers across Hudson Bay. The GFS brings us pretty far to the south, so really in the next couple of days you will get impacted if you live in really anywhere in southern Canada, maybe excluding the far southern cities. And then notice we have that little guy that eventually does turn pretty significant. With the GFS, it doesn't turn into a monster of a storm in terms of the snow, but what it still does, and I want everyone to pay attention to this, especially if you live across the Northeast, with the help of this high pressure, it intensifies the winds, and the winds could still be pretty strong, 30 to 40, 45 mile per hour gusts, and that definitely still a concern. And then the GFS also brings up the tropical storm, and then it does a similar thing to what the European and GFS Parallel do. Build this large system out in the next week across the plains. This thing is a spin bomb. I mean, this thing is like a absolute, a cyclone, a superstorm. And again, you can see more storms propagate off of that one. We see a kind of a little dancing of two storms, one from the north, one from the south. So possibly another snowstorm across the Northeast. So just a lot of activity and definitely some exciting weather is on its way. Let's see the Canadian model. I don't think I showed you this one yet. This one is a bit different with the big storm at the end. It doesn't show it as organized. And it's also different with the storm going on right now across the country, or that will be in the next couple of days. We have that weekend cold front. We have that little guy. This one does become pretty strong, but the snow kind of stays a bit further to the north, but still keeps that mention for very strong winds. So the northeast will definitely have to keep an eye out for that. And it includes several other large systems. And notice right there, look at the northwest. We see again that storm system moving in at around a week from right now as I'm recording this video, which is Sunday. So I want to bring a little quicker or larger view of this storm system with the different website of the European model. And let's take a quick glance at this. So notice again, this is the European, so the first model I showed you on today's video, and notice we see lots of showers, lots of little rain events. So, you know, even if the snow doesn't occur far to the south, it's still a winter storm because of how big the precip or the kind of the snow shield is going to be. Notice, however, it brings a lot of showers and storms into the northeast, the Great Lakes, southern Canada. I do have viewers from southern Canada and Ontario, Quebec, and into Nova Scotia. So this definitely does still bring some impacts, right? And then it becomes that larger storm, and you can see that the European keeps it relatively farther to the north, but where the snow does occur, it occurs very, very heavily. You can see Labrador, Newfoundland, and eastern Quebec just get pounded by this system, and it sticks around for a while. And I actually want to show you the snowfall accumulations with the European. They could be pretty significant. And if you can see right there, we could be looking at isolated amounts. And by the way, this is inches. This isn't millimeters. You know, up to possibly 27 to 30 to even, you know, higher amounts of snow, which is just, you know, a lot of snow to say the least. And notice even across central Ontario, southern Quebec, we could be looking at a decent amount of snow. You know, obviously not a foot, but 1 to 3 inches are possible, and we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Notice if you live across Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, you could be looking at some relatively moderate snow coming to you a bit further out in time at around the next weekend. That's kind of to do with a clipper. And notice this storm, if it's just a bit further to the south, like the GFS Parallel has it, we could be looking at a more significant system. And again, I don't think they have the GFS Parallel on this website, so I can't really show you this model on here. But wait a minute, they may, because last time I checked, I don't think the Parallel had a south. Yeah, they just have a U.S. view. They don't have a continental view. They have the North Atlantic. Okay, wait, we might actually be able to do something with this. That gives us a view of lots of southern Canada more significantly. So notice it doesn't distinguish between the rain or snow at all. It just shows precip. But this is still a great example of how big the storm could get very quickly. Notice that what we get here, a little small guy, if you will, 987, but it develops much quicker with this model. And what this GFS Parallel does, it intensifies it into a beast. 978, 972 across Nova Scotia, southeastern Canada. Look at that wind. That wind is very strong. All of this is snow, but with this kind of model view, we don't have the option to see precipitation type, but very heavy snow. And this thing, 965, and this thing is extremely powerful. And the winds with that are pretty much in a direct relationship. And then notice, it does kind of spin itself to death, if you will, but still bringing snow and rain, or, you know, snow across Quebec and into Greenland. So definitely interesting. And then notice just the activity we see across the United States. Lots of precipitation. And by the way, this beast of a storm that will be occurring here kind of does bring a few showers and storms into Europe, which is definitely something we'll have to watch for. And then notice right here, we see another spinner. So the Europe also is going to be very active, lots of precipitation. While the Americas, North America is really active as well. Notice this beast right here spins into a monster, 959. It could bring down some cold air. So we'll have to see if we do get these large systems, and a chance of cold air is more likely. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all guys on the next episode. See ya. Bye.